I think I'm pretty insecure about how long my legs are.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and think about if I'd gotten braces when I was
When
younger
I was little,
with my
I
bottom
used to be
teeth,
called
making
spider
them more straight
legs.
than they are right
I
now.
don't like the way my nose looks in that part of my face.
When I say my eyes, sometimes I feel like pictures really just like to get my eyes looking in different directions.
I critique the way that my hips are.
Sometimes I feel like my lips aren't big enough.
I have questions.
I have questions.
I have questions.
So I want to show you guys something. This is me as a kid. I'm sure you could care less now, but humor me. I'm showing you this picture for a reason, right? So that's me right there in the corner with a bunch of my siblings and some cousins. I think we're at grandma's house. Now, basically, I know because I look like a Gap Kids model, you may think that I was a kid who really cared about what I look like. But look, the truth is, I didn't care. Not even a little bit. You see, I'm rocking my Houston Rockets World Champ shirt. My hair is just doing its thing. Life was good, right? And if it was up to me, that was pretty much what I would wear every day. My goals in life then were really simple: survive school, eat some food, and play Nintendo. Now, I never thought about impressing people. I never felt like self-conscious about my appearance. At that age, I didn't pay attention to how other people looked either, or judge their body compared to mine. I just kind of lived my life. And you probably have a picture like this of yourself. Because, like me, there was an age for you, even if it was really young, when you didn't care about what people looked like and you didn't care what people thought about how you looked. You were more innocent than you were self conscious, right? And you were more carefree than you were insecure. More concerned with playing outside than you were with appearances. But what I didn't know then was that all of us experience this change, right? When at some point there's a day or a moment for all of us when things shift and all of a sudden we become aware of how we see ourselves. But more than that, we become conscious of how others see us. And boom, just like that, everything changes, right? And that happens at a different age for all of us. Maybe you had a friend who really cared about how he or she looked. And even though you had never thought about it before, every time they made a comment about themselves, it made you more aware of you. Maybe you had a parent who made some comments about your physical appearance, and whether those comments were positive or negative, it simply got you thinking about the way that you look. Maybe there was a doctor or a pediatrician who said something to you about you, right? Maybe it was something you saw on TV, in a movie, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Maybe something you read in a book. But all of a sudden, this form of entertainment made you aware or self conscious about your body. At some point, we all go from being innocent children who could care less about how we look to being young adults who are very aware of how we look. And that brings us to our topic of the day, right? Body image. Now, body image is basically how you see yourself when you look in the mirror or when you picture yourself in your mind. Now, that could include what you believe about your own appearance, right? That includes your memories, your assumptions, generalizations, how you feel about your body, your height, your shape, your weight, how you sense and control your body as you move, how you physically experience or feel your own body. I know it's weird to think about, but it's a thing. Many of us internalize messages starting at a young age, and those messages either lead to a positive or a negative body image. Having a healthy body image is an important part of mental well being and preventing eating disorders. For the record, body image is not a little girl thing, not even a little bit. This is a guy thing as well. Also, it's not just a teenager thing, it's an every adult ever thing, right? Everyone deals with body image at some point in their lives, which makes this a human thing. And at some point, we all think about our bodies. At some point, for all of us, it can consume us. So we have a specific way that we view ourselves, and we have a specific way that we think about the people around us and about how other people view us. And that can center around any number of things, things like height, muscle mass, hair, acne, skin tone, your weight, all sorts of things. Those are normal body realities that everybody deals with. But for you as young adults, it's a lot of times it's complicated by other situations. For example, your body image is there definitely affected if you're the first one to hit puberty faster than your friends, or if you're the last one to hit puberty and you're developed more slowly. Look, I was a senior in high school. I get it, right? If your hair is different, if your size is different, your skin is different, then most of the people around you, it can complicate things. And if you're not as strong or as fast as the people around you, your body image can take a hit. If you're considered pretty or stylish, or if there's pressure for you to feel that way, and you feel stressed to maintain your status by the way you dress, post, look, it can affect your body image. Now, all kinds of factors go into your body image. And why is that a big deal, right? Why does it matter what we think about our bodies? If everybody deals with it, who cares, right? Why do we struggle with this? And I think it's because deep down, we're all trying to figure out an answer to this question. How should we feel about our bodies? Trying to figure out how we should feel about our bodies and why we have certain insecurities is exhausting. And searching for an answer causes all sorts of thoughts and actions in our lives. So if this question is impacting the way that we think and we live and we feel, then we should see if there's a way to find a truly fulfilling answer. Now, thankfully, something written a long time ago that we find in the Bible gives us at least a chance at finding a helpful answer. Most people refer to the Bible as a book. In reality, the Bible is a collection of books that span all types of genres over a long period of time, and it's divided in two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Now, Old Testament consists mostly of books written about before Jesus walking on the earth, and the New Testament consists of all the books that are Jesus' life on earth and then what happened afterwards. In the Old Testament, one of the books is called Psalms, and it's basically a collection of poetry about gods, like with emotions and worship and pain and relationships, and it's like a journal to God. A lot of it was written by King David, who was a famous king in Israel, and man, his life was like a movie. He went through so many ups and downs, and in one of his poems, David says this: "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." And that's Psalm 139, verse 23. Now, why did David pray that prayer? Why did he ask God to search him? Because he's a human being like the rest of us. He had anxious thoughts like you and I do. And just like us, he struggled to know what to do with those thoughts. Because he didn't know what to do, he asked God for help. David continues and he says this: "See if there is any offensive way in me." Psalm 139:24. That was a key phrase to add on to the first part of his prayer. David asked God to help him to see if there were offensive ways in him. So not only did he want to recognize his anxious thoughts, he wanted God to help him find the offensive ones. Maybe you hear that and you think, well, David is asking God to show him what David is thinking about that might make God upset. But think about this verse in light of what we're talking about today in our bodies. God made us with a body. Our bodies are good. And so when David asks God to search him and see if there are offensive thoughts, he means thoughts that are hurtful to God, thoughts that are hurtful towards the way David saw himself, thoughts that were in total opposition to the way that God saw David, or thoughts that would be offensive if David thought them or said them to someone else. Now, when it comes to body image, you and I need to examine our thoughts, and we have to know what's offensive to God. What makes something offensive to God? Well, basically, it's when our thoughts don't reflect what God says. So then when we say something like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I'm so gross. God, I'm so ugly. I look awful. I'm too weak." All those things that we say to ourselves, right? "I'll never look as good as all these other people here." Listen, that is offensive to God. Why? Well, for one, because God made you, but also because God knows your thoughts need to be taken seriously. Our thoughts impact our actions, our attitudes, and our way of being in the world. Not only do thoughts like that steal our joy, but they negatively affect the way we carry ourselves. In essence, when we don't accept ourselves, we're not able to be ourselves. We're not able to embrace the way the we that God created us to be. On our own, it's tough not to think offensive things about ourselves. But it's even tougher when things are added, like pressure from coaches or parents, or influences from media, social media comments, comparisons of other people, assumption about other people's thoughts about us, and standards to measure up to that we've created for ourselves. It can be really complicated, right? And that's why it's so empowering to get to the end of the passage and see where King David says this. He says, "Lead me in the way everlasting," Psalm 139:24. The way everlasting is God's way. It's choosing to think about ourselves in a way that lines up with the way God feels about us. And David wrote something else that gives us a clear picture of how much we mean to God. He wrote this: I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. Psalm 139:14. David is saying God created us in our bodies, and we were crafted and designed by God. He loves us as we are right now. He has incredible value placed on us and our worth and honor on our lives. And that's what fearfully and wonderfully means. And so every single one of us was created by God and given value, and that are more than we're able to imagine. And nothing can change that. And that means that instead of obsessing over our bodies like it's the only thing that matters or the most important thing about us because some billion-dollar beauty industry told us to, we remember that God sees us as more than just a body and what we look like on the outside. God made us with minds, emotions, feelings, and that makes up the rest of who we are. And it means that instead of treating our bodies like they don't matter at all and they're just something we have to put up with, we remember God made us with a body and our bodies are good. They're the way we experience the world, right? God is okay with our bodies. We know this because God sent Jesus in a body to earth to have a human experience. And it means that instead of striving and struggling to overcome whatever image we have in our minds and being unhappy with ourselves until we achieve perfection, we can embrace life, we can cherish it, and we can make the most of the time that God has given us. Now we get to choose a new way to think about ourselves and our bodies. And so I want you to answer this question: which part of you do you like the most? One. Listen, I realize that this is not easy, okay? It's a struggle. And just hearing the verses that we've read today won't automatically make that struggle go away. But there are things that we can do to take David's perspective with us into our everyday lives. See, we all have so many thoughts about ourselves. It's easy to notice every time we scroll through TikTok and Instagram and there's all these filters, right? We cycle through filters as different thoughts about ourselves roll through our own head and heart. Those thoughts don't just show up when we're in front of a camera either. They happen all day. And so pay attention to what you say to yourself. Be curious about, where does that thought come from? Are these thoughts that would be offensive if I said them to someone else? Are these thoughts that would be offensive to God if he heard those things about me as his creation? Ask God to help you see yourself through the lens of love, purpose, and acceptance. And then I want you to make a simple, bold, beautiful declaration. I want you to promise to be kind to yourself. The one that's there even when all the filters aren't, right? The real you. However you look or feel right now, be kind to yourself. If you don't think you can do it, make that declaration anyway. Just try it for a little while, right? Be kind to yourself. Counteract those negative things that you think. Be kind to yourself and battle the pressure you feel from other sources and comparison traps. Be kind to yourself because God is full of kindness towards you. Be kind to yourself because you, and you includes your body, deserve kindness. Kind is not saying nice words to yourself, by the way. Kindness is taking care of your body and what it needs. It's about doing what's good for you. Maybe that means you unfollow that account that makes you feel bad. Maybe you add life-giving habits into your routine that make you feel good. Maybe you take a break from exercising or even start exercising. You can set boundaries about who you listen or talk to about the way you look. Maybe you stop making jokes about yourself and other people. Maybe you stop commenting on other people's looks all the time. For some of you, negative thoughts stem from your body image. They may have led you down some like destructive paths, and you've been harmful to your body and you know it. And now you feel stuck in a pattern that you can't seem to get out of. And this might be like a big step, but maybe today is the day for you to have a conversation with your small group leader. They will love you and they will not judge you. For you, the number one way you can be kind to yourself is get help from loving, trusted people as quickly as possible, because you deserve that help. You are worth it. Now imagine if we started seeing ourselves, our mind, our body, our whole self, the way God sees it. What if you started seeing your body not as a problem to be solved, but also the most important thing about you? Instead, what if you started to see your body as a part of what makes you the you that God made? What if we could anchor our body image and our truth instead of negativity the way God intended for us? Wouldn't that be more freeing, a more joyful way to live? Listen, as we wrap up, I want you to take 30 seconds and I reflect on one more question. what would happen in your life if you chose to be kind to yourself more often?